What's up, Headless Horde? Here we go, Willow, episode 3. So, right off the bat, this is probably the best episode yet. It definitely had the most action. We dug into the lore a little bit, and I enjoyed this one. There's a couple parts I'm still a little iffy on. You know, they're trying to be a little funny, and they're trying to make these Gen X jokes. I don't know. I'm not crazy about that part. But overall, I mean, I think the show is moving in the right direction. So tonight I will be by myself. My co-host usually on these, Ryan Milky. He is having some internet issues, and so I'm gonna do this one solo tonight. Not sure how long we'll go. Got some notes, and actually, I want to unbox this really quick. So I was on Luau on Sunday, and we talked, like an hour and a half. It was awesome. And so he sent me this little package. So I was going to open this up, and I want to give out a big shout out to Luau for sending me this and having me on his channel. So let's open this thing up real quick. All right. So what we got? Oh my gosh. We have lots of candy. Oh my gosh. So look, I mean, he went all out here. There's a ton in here. Snickers, Dove bars, bags of Doves, Three Musketeers, Skittles, caramel M&Ms. Thank you. Appreciate this, man. It's really nice. Oh, he gave me a little note too. I said this is for the live. Trying to see what it says here. Thanks for the live. Had a lot of fun. Hope you and the family like chocolates. Yeah, we do. Trust me. So this will go to good use. So thank you so much. Appreciate it. It was really nice. All right. So episode 5. So if you watched the episode, take a vote in the little poll I made there. I'm curious to see what you guys thought if you watched it. So we start off the episode pretty much where we left off last week. The opening scene though has Kit and Borman, and he's kind of telling her a little tale about like 10,000 years ago. There was this armor that was created, and they used the device called the Luxor Cannon. And what it basically did is made the armor magical, so nothing could pierce it. So she kind of, this is where it was a little bit odd for me. So Kit cuts him short because she's trying to also find out information about Man Mardigan, who's her father. And at one point, she goes, she just throws out like some weird Gen Z joke. I don't like how they're doing that. You know, her character is very unlikable right now. So I'm not sure how I'm feeling about Kit. You know, I don't know. It's a little bit weird how they're running her character, I think. So I don't exactly remember what the joke was now, but it was just so weird. It was just so misplaced. And it has nothing to do with Willow. It has nothing to do with that time period. So I don't know. Anyways, real quickly say hi to a couple people here in the chat. Baby Ice, what's going on? Thanks for being here tonight. Umpty, I know you told me you didn't watch the episode, so I will let you know when there's big time spoilers coming. If you want to mute, so I don't want to ruin anything for you. There's a couple little things here in this episode. Nothing severe, you know, nothing crazy here in episode 3. What's up, PDX? How you doing, man? Thanks for being here tonight. Kenneth Bird, what's up? So after we get the weird joke, we then begin to look for Laura. Okay. And so Laura, this, I don't know. Like, I'm okay with Laura, I guess, so far. I mean, at least she's going through some type of struggle. She is, she's trying to figure out this magic thing. So I kind of like that. I wish Kit was a little bit more of a struggle. But there is a scene later in this episode that maybe we kind of start seeing a little bit that she might have some issues. But anyways, so they're continuing to look for Allura, and Kit actually comes and says they actually think that she thinks that they should continue their journey without her and just kind of keep the distance, keep the path, whatever, keep it going. So because she sees the little bush or tree that Allura had created at the end of episode 2. So to me, that I feel like Kit is, I don't know if jealous is the right word, but she definitely resents her for some reason. Maybe because she grew up, in the kitchen, and now she just is the one. And I feel like maybe Kit has some jealousy on that. Jade then finds Ballantine with Allura because they all kind of move through the woods or whatever, and they find them. So I thought this was a little odd because at the end of episode 2, we see her get taken by Ballantine, and it's like, to me it looked like it was like 2 a.m, and then like all of a sudden they start looking and it's daylight. Again, the time frame was weird. I don't know. It's really strange how some of these shows do that. That we had the same issue in the Rings of Power where something like this happened. I don't know. I mean, if you're gonna have her get kidnapped, why are you making it pitch black outside? And then the next scene, it's like light. I don't know. It's weird. But anyways, so they end up finding her. The group comes out. They're all kind of fighting and whatnot. And then we find out that Ballantine has 2 other people with him. So it's like 3 on 6 or whatever. And so Willow, he's kind of like huddled over by a rock, and he basically decides to. It looks to me like an acorn, like he used in the original movie, and he kind of creates this fog or this smoke. And I think it actually ended up helping Ballantine and the crew because they end up escaping, and they still end up taking Allura with him. So, like, it's almost like the first 10 minutes of the show for this episode didn't even matter because Allura ends up still being captured and all this. So, it is what it is. It's a little bit more drawn out, I guess. But, so the group, they lose them. So they decide to continue and try to find Allura. There's they follow Ballantine, but we find out that the carriage breaks down. And I don't know exactly. They were looking at the wheel. I don't know if the wheel just fell off. It didn't look cracked or anything, but something was up with the wheel. So they decide to, just kind of lift it. They can have a couple of the humans lift it, or the Daikini lift it, and they'll throw it back on there. So Kit goes to grab some water. And I thought this is kind of the scene I'm talking about. So Kit kind of decides, okay, I'm gonna go get some water while you're doing this. And Jade follows her to this little stream that's nearby. And what happens is Kit finds out that Jade was actually told by her mother, the queen, that she should train her in sword fighting, but also let Kit win. Because Kit had made a comment earlier saying that she always won every duel that they ever practiced. And now she finds this out. So at least, again, this doesn't make Kit look like, she's so powerful and just the greatest swordsman at the age of whatever she's supposed to be, 17 or whatever. So Baby Ice, you say, I think Kit is just worried about her brother and everything else is focused. Yeah, I get that too. Yeah. She just wants to go. But I mean, Allura also wants to find her brother. So Allura is doing next scene. We see Allura. She's tied up on the back of the horse of Ballantine, and again, to me, this is just moving the plot forward, I guess. But somehow she ends up taking the knife from Ballantine and cuts herself loose and falls off, and he has no idea. I mean, well, he figures it out, but you hear a big clunk on the ground. You think you would probably find out right away, but he doesn't. But eventually, she starts running through the woods. They follow her in, and this scene was really strange to me because she's walking through this forest, in the chat, let me know if you understood what was going on here. The forest was very foggy, and it almost seemed like Elora was almost being drugged by this fog. And I was like, okay, so I wasn't sure exactly what was going on. Is the forest magical, or is it just in her imagination? I wasn't quite sure what to make of that. But eventually she gets through the fog, and all of a sudden the fog is like just gone. And then what happens is she comes to a like a log house almost in the middle of nowhere. And I have a couple theories on this, but she meets two women that live there, Herbert and Anne. And again, then there's like another lame Generation Z joke here, where the one she's like, "Oh, I'm being followed. You got to help me. You got to And then one of them, I'm not sure which one, made the comment. I think it was Herbert. She makes a comment saying that young folks now, they're just not learning survival skills. Like, to me, that's totally like a stab at the youth of today. It really, I mean, I don't know. But again, it just, to me, it just seems misplaced in this universe, which, we've had several of those now. So I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of some of those humor. Some of those, the way they're trying to be humorous with making jokes about present day. So that's just my opinion. Elora tries to explain that men are coming for her, and they don't seem that worried at all. And this is where I almost thought maybe that we weren't really seeing reality. I don't know, again, if there was magic going on here. I don't know if, maybe she had fallen and maybe hit her head at this point, and maybe she just knocked herself out, and this is kind of all in her head. It was really a strange sequence. And the one lady who plays Herbert, I don't remember the actress's name off the top of my head, but I know that she's a pretty big actress. She is in the show on Apple TV, Ted Lasso. She's probably like the second or third largest like role in that show. And then the other thing is, what was I going to say? Somebody can block that. These people have no life. Anyways, so I just thought it was a weird sequence, I guess. Anyways, so then they kind of invite her to have some food, and then we kind of shoot back over to Willow. And when the Willow with the group there, yeah, okay, thanks, baby guys. So then we head back to Willow and the group, and they're back on the road, and you kind of see them heading toward what looks like a huge portal. And they're moving there because that's where they think they're taking Elora. So to give you a little lore from the movie. So basically, the Queen, Bavmorda, the big bad in Willow. So what she was trying to do is, she wasn't actually trying to kill Elora. What she was trying to do was send Elora through a portal to a different dimension. Because if she killed her like the magical essence in her, and I have a feeling we're gonna get some like some lineage on this, maybe from like how this all got created, because we really never got that much in the movie. But if she killed her essence would actually just be reborn again, and we would start all over with the baby. So I'm really interested to see how they move forward with that, because I think that's probably the most interesting thing about this show right now, is that, and I'm hoping they pursue that. So that's why. So Willow knows, like, okay, so they know he knows what they're trying to do. So that's why he's like, okay, we got to head toward the portal. Willow tells them that if Laura is killed, and that she'll be reborn, and then so they kind of continue. Now they also decided to split up, which you never want to split up in a show, right? So Kit and Borman, they decide. Oh, I remember the stupid joke from the beginning. Now I'm thinking of his name, Borman. Yeah, she goes when he's telling her, this is so dumb. When he's telling her about the tale of the armor and all that in the very, very beginning, she makes a comment like, now I know why her name is Borman when he's in the middle of talking about the tail. So stupid. Like that, I don't know. Anyways, that's what the dumb joke was at the beginning of the show. Anyways, so they end up splitting up, and they head over to a and they're heading down toward the portal. Now, I guess the reason why they're really splitting up is because they have horses, and the wagon that's carrying their supplies and Willow, and whoever else, they're all kind of tailing way behind. So they decided to take off and try to get there faster. I think that's the main reason why they decided to do that. Back over with Herbert and Anne, they find out that Allura is the true Empress. And all of a sudden, it just gets weird then, because then all of a sudden, like, oh, they're just vowing to protect her. Like, they were actually a little rude to her when they first met. So when they actually find this out, they look at her scar, or her marking, I guess you can call it. They figure out who she is. Valentine then all of a sudden shows up out of nowhere, and they end up fighting him, and basically he ends up killing both of them. Very short-lived. So we do see Herbert strike him in the back with an axe. So that's kind of showing that he's stronger now that he's turning into a some type of monster. I know that's what they said in the show. I'm not really sure what the creature would be called at this point, but he does end up killing her. And then Anne grabs Allura. They start running, and then Anne's eventually killed. And Allura is now captured for the third time in about 25 minutes. Back over to Willow and the group. We can see they're now stuck in mud. So they're not having very good luck at all. And while they're stuck in the mud, we kind of we go back to where Jade is in Graydon. And Graydon is the prince that Kid is going to marry. And you can kind of hear them talking, and they're talking about Willow a little bit behind his back, and basically saying, like, why didn't he use any magic? They probably could have kept Allura at that point. And, again, it was weird because Willow did use that smoke or whatever, and it ended up just looking like it helped Valentine get away. It was really strange. There's a couple strange things that happened in this episode, honestly, that just I'd like to get some more information on. Willow then kind of explains to the group at this point. Well, actually, him and his buddy, I'm trying to remember what his name is. I have it here. What's his name? Silas. So Willow and Silas are kind of talking about how they're getting older, and they just kind of have a nice little conversation between the friends. And eventually, Willow starts explaining why he didn't use more magic in the woods, and he basically tells them that he can't. He's got to save it up. So from what I understand, is every time Willow uses a little magic, part of himself dies. So if he uses too much, he'll end up just killing himself. And that definitely comes into play later in the episode. So this is the main reason why he tells Silas this. As he's talking to Silas, he gets this big vision. This is actually the second vision of the episode. The first vision he saw earlier in the episode, he saw Allura, and she kind of like almost was like in a trance or in a like almost looked like she was possessed. So this in this vision, we see this huge black castle. And then after that quick scene, he basically says, "I know where we're going now." So now he knows where they're headed. Kit and Borman, they end up approaching the portal, and they end up heading down into these catacombs. So in the catacombs, Borman is telling her that a couple things, actually. So number one, she tells him that there are these creatures called were-rats. So to watch off of those. And what they're actually trying to do is find that magical armor. So that's kind of why he decides to go down there, because early in the episode, he does mention that Mad Mardigan and him hid it there. So that's how he knows it's there. So they head down into this catacombs, and there's like a well in the middle of this large room. And so he heads in there, And he tells her, like, watch out for these were-rats. And of course, we get to see a were-rat. And what was really cool about this was they made the were-rat. It wasn't CGI. It was like old school 80s. I don't know if it was a puppet or stop at. I mean, it probably was like a stop action type thing. If you remember the first, or if you remember the movie, we had those like little troll snake things that came out. So it reminded me of that a lot. It actually was like two-headed. It was pretty cool. It was a good callback to the original series instead of just shoving some CGI in your face. So I thought that was kind of neat. So let me know. Did you like that, or would you rather see in CGI? I don't know. I kind of enjoyed it. It just made it feel more like Willow, after all these silly jokes that they keep throwing in there. So back outside, we see that Valentine is he's not looking so hot because they are now there with Allura, and basically right near, like, getting closer to the portal. And you can see that Valentine's face is starting to come apart a little bit more. So he's not looking good. He's looking more and more like a corpse, in my opinion. And what happens is we see Borman then. Well, actually, I'm sorry. Before we get there, Willow and the group come down, and we can also see Allura. She's trying to, like, tell them how powerful she is. Because at one point, I don't know if she kind of smacks him or just kind of touches his face, but you can kind of see that she almost kind of tears apart part of his face, and she thinks it's magic. It's really just, I think it's just because they're so close to the portal, and it's almost like their essence is beginning to die because they're about to get sucked into another dimension or whatever. Again, that's the way I got out of it. You can let me know what you think. But where did I leave off here? I got some notes here. Oh, okay. So yeah. So Allura's trying to use magic, and they're, Valentine and his two cronies there kind of making fun of her or whatever. And then Willow comes there and everyone else, and they kind of start fighting. Jade and Valentine start going at it. And then we finally we go back to the well, and we get to see one of the little were-rats. So Kit takes care of that. Borman comes out of the well, but before he does, and this part's really important because I think this is definitely going to pay off in probably toward the end of the season. So again, they went in there because that's where the armor was hidden, and what he ends up finding is the piece that he needs to enchant the armor, and that was, again, that's called the Luxor cannon. And it almost, if you think of like a half of a lightsaber hilt, that's kind of what it looked like almost, or like a mini flashlight. So that's basically what it looks like. And again, in the very, very first beginning of the episode, you can see that they're attaching that or almost pressing it onto the armor. And the other note with that armor too is that they do make reference to the person wearing the armor being able to get it enchanted. The person needs to be worthy. So again, I that's obviously going to be something, because I don't, there's no reason for them to tell that little tale at the beginning and then all of a sudden now he finds the piece, or one of the two pieces. So as they're fighting outside, they kind of run through the catacombs and back up, and they get out of there because there's a bunch of like eyes coming at them. So a bunch of were-rats, and then again, Kit, another silly joke. I don't know why they're making her such a silly character. Maybe it's because she's a teenager. I don't know. But she makes another comment like, if I get bit, Borman, I'm going to make sure I bite you first. I mean, okay, sure. But I mean, it's like you almost made those were-rats nothing because you're making a joke as you're running away from like 36 of them. And I don't know. Again, I'm not a huge fan of the way they're doing the comedy. Like, leave the comedy up to Willow. And and it's funny too. I say that. There was a couple scenes here in this episode where Willow was kind of a jerk. And it's like, he's not like that in the movie. Now, granted, he's, 20, 30 years older and has kids now. And I don't know, I don't know. It's the humor to me is a little bit off for Willow, for what Willow is. I mean, in the original, it was really Mad Mardigan who was the funny one for the most part. And I don't know if Borman is definitely more of the comedic person, and I don't know if they're just using Kit to feed off of that. But to me, like, I don't remember Kit doing this stuff in the first episode. I just think it's a little odd. Yeah, Baby Ice, I agree. It just seems weird. It just seems a little bit weird, but I don't know. I mean, hopefully we get to see her grow then, because I just don't think she did it in the first couple. What else we got here? Where we leave off? So and again, here's another weird part. Okay, so Graydon, he's kind of trying to take Elora, and they go over by Willow, and there's another joke with Willow's like, oh, if we can get on the cart, I can protect it, kind of like he protected everyone from turning into sheep in the original. And then lightning comes down and destroys the carriage. So he's like, okay, just keep fighting. Okay, fine. It was cute, I guess, but I would rather have that humor than what some of the other stuff. So anyways, so they're still fighting, whatever. Willow is contemplating using his powers, but he doesn't want to waste it. And then we get Silas, who's kind of battling, one of these guys. And again, if I missed something here, please let me know. But I didn't see him get stabbed. All I saw was him get tossed up against the rocks. So I don't know. Maybe he hit his head. And then basically, Willow comes out because he sees this, and he sees that most of his friends are losing their one-on-one battles, and he comes out and uses his staff, and he says a magic word and basically kills two of the cronies, or we want to call them. And Ballastine kind of goes down, and he's not quite dead yet, but he's kind of sitting there. And Willow heads over to Silas, and Silas hands him this little thing on his necklace and tells him to give it to his wife. And he basically says, too, don't use your magic to save me, because he knows he just used it to kind of save the group. And then Silas dies. So I don't know. I mean, I guess he hit his head. Who knows? Whatever. I thought it was odd, So now our group has now lost two people. One in episode 2, one today. But I don't know. I just thought it was a little strange. So Ballantine is up on his knees, and basically he says that he's going to, he wants Jade to kill him, and he seems like he's a little more back to normal at this point. And she, the thing we got to remember here too is he's the one who kind of raised her and made her a good fighter. They show a couple scenes like that briefly in the first episode. So, he wants her to, he's got to be her to kill him and all that. And, he said it's a pleasure and to teach her and protect her. And he wants her to protect the group. He said that she's the best fighter in the group. It's her job to now protect the group. And then he also mentions that the internal one, and again, the internal one is like just a generic name for whoever this bad, bad villain is, or whoever you want to call him. Like they've mentioned, he's known as the Crone. He's known as the internal one. They've said like 3 or 4 different names for this character. We don't really know who it is yet. Obviously, there's rumors that it's Bavmorda. I personally don't think it is. And the reason why is because in the movie at the end, she doesn't die. She gets transported to a different dimension, like she was trying to do it to Elora. Now, unless she figured out some way to get out of that dimension and come back, all right, that's a whole different thing. But it kind of defeats the purpose of what the movie was then. So I really, really hope listen, we've had enough villains come back. All right, we had Palpatine, and it's just enough is enough. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really, really hoping they don't bring back Bavmorda. Hopefully they can explain something else. I don't know, but I'll go on record and say I don't think it's her, and I really hope it's not her. So after he says all that, she ends up killing him. And, actually before she kills him, it does mention to her that they need to make sure Allura reaches I think it's the immemorable city. Memorable city. So, hey, what's going on, Nadia? How you doing? After burying the dead, so they buried the 3 knights, they buried Silas, and again, another cheesy joke here. So Borman says that, oh, Willow, now that you're, you rested for a few minutes, like, dude, it's like literally been like 3 minutes. But he's like, no, now you can just use your magic and float us up since you were able to use it. Again, just another silly joke because there's like these giant stairs or something, and it looks like almost like a huge mountain. And he's like, oh yeah, you just float us up there so we don't have to walk. I don't know. The jokes is what's killing me on this show. I like the show. I don't like the jokes. I just don't like them. So anyways, so they end up, Willow's like, well, we shouldn't go up there. And I think because he knows part of his vision is probably going to come true. When he saw this castle and he saw Allura in his possession or trance or whatever. So anyway, so he makes Borman makes another joke like, well, we're going to be going up these stairs basically because I guess the way they came in, they kind of said that it was destroyed by all this rain. I mean, it was rain. I mean, maybe some of the thunder, I guess, from the carriage, I guess, but it basically wiped out the entrance. So they didn't really have anywhere else to go. Baby Ice, what are you saying here? Let me check a look. Baby Ice says, I don't either. It's too jokey. Like, at least Val Kilmer did a great job with it. Neither one of these two actors or actor or actress is Val Kilmer, and the jokes just fall flat for me so far. And like I said, I would say leave it up to the little people for that. That's kind of what Willow was. If it's not Willow, then it was Matt Mardigan, and I just think they're trying so hard to make Borman that character. Like, make a new character. We don't need another Matt Mardigan, But again, it's only 3 episodes. We'll see where it goes. The jokes are just not doing it for me. So the entrance gets washed away. Their horses leave, and they end up starting to climb up the stairs. And then as we finish off the episode, Allura hints to Willow that she should be more useful if she has the wand. So I think that's like a little, that's going to be like a little Easter egg there for the future episodes because, eventually she's going to get it. Maybe she takes it. That's what I'm thinking right now, is that maybe in a future episode, 4 or 5, maybe she ends up just taking the wand from him without his permission. And then something will happen from that. So I can kind of see that's kind of what they're planting there. Finally, they head up and they get to the top. And then Graydon, we see Prince Graydon. He kind of falls to the ground. And they head over to him. And we can see up on his chest area here that one of them must have touched him or transferred that evil magic to him. So we kind of see him now in that with that same mark that Palantine had. So we have then that kind of cuts that scene because then they're like, oh, where are we headed? Where are we? And then all of a sudden Willow just walks around the corner and you can see this huge black castle with this huge portal around it. And we find out that is Nakmar Castle. And that was the castle that Bev Morda was in. So we get to see that castle again, which is pretty cool. And then it basically cuts to black, and we get a cool little version of Enter Sandman, which I thought was kind of neat. Again, is it Willow? Probably not, but I think they're doing that for the younger viewers. So I don't know. I mean, overall, I did like the episode. I thought it was the best one so far. At least it started coming along with the lore a little bit. It started to, move the story along. I didn't like that we lost Silas. I thought we needed, I thought it was good that he brought one of his buddies along with him. So that was a little disappointing because I don't even know if we're going to see anybody else, from his village. and maybe till the end of the season or next season. I mean, I don't know. But overall, I would give the episode probably like an 8. If it wasn't for these jokes, it would probably be like a 9, honestly. And that scene in the middle of the forest was so strange. So I don't know what to even think about that, because I don't know, unless it was literally just like a pit stop and people know about Allura still. I mean, maybe that's what they're trying to say. But yeah, I don't know. Baby Ice, if you're still there, what did you give this episode? I think last week, I said a 7 and an 8, and then this was an 8. But I went back and rewatched too. I would say it's more like a 7.5, 7. This is the best episode so far, I think, minus the jokes. Yeah, hopefully it gets better. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's not terrible. I mean, it's not as good as I thought it was gonna be. I mean, it just reminds me of another, group of characters going on an adventure, and it's really just this core. Like, we don't even go back to the castle where the queen was. Like, so I just have a feeling we're just gonna follow this group of characters around, and that's basically it. It is what it is, I guess. I mean, they did separate, so we had 2 little storylines going that ended up merging back in like 10 minutes. But there's really, there's not too much more to say about the episode. We'll see where it goes. I mean, I think it'll be cool if we can get into the castle next week and kind of see that. Hopefully we get a couple Easter eggs, maybe. I mean, again, this is years and years down, after the battle with Bavmorda, but it's like maybe we'll get like a little Easter egg from like when they were all sheep and stuff, or I don't know. I mean, I don't know how they're going to do it. It would be kind of cool though. But again, I guess 30 years later, why would it still be there? What's up, Johnny Funko? How you doing? But yeah, I mean, if you haven't watched the series yet, I mean, I would. I think it's worth it. It's an easy watch. Like, this isn't like Rings of Power where you literally turn your head for 3 minutes and all of a sudden you're rewinding because you have no clue what just happened. This is much easier to follow. I think doing this for this live tonight, since I knew Ryan wasn't going to be here and I didn't want to have some notes, I think I only paused it like 3 times just to kind of catch up on notes. But it's, I think it's fun. But yeah, so, if you haven't seen it, check it out. And then, you guys come check out my live. I'll be back next Wednesday with episode 4. The plan right now is to be with Ryan on Monday night next week. I don't know. I'm assuming maybe we'll break down the first 3 then instead of the first 2, because next week's episode 4. So I'll have to touch base with him. Sunday I'll be live again, and we are doing our least favorite Game of Thrones characters with Lily and Ryan. And then, and I'll have another video being dropped out probably Friday or Saturday this week. Tomorrow is going to be my off day. But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, let me know in the comments below if you're watching this on the rewatch. Let me know if you're liking the show. I mean, we're almost halfway through, which is actually kind of crazy. That's what happens when they drop 2 episodes. So, but yeah, I don't know, guys. Any other questions or anything? Can't really think of anything else to deep dive into here. I guess there is one thing. Going back to that scene in the woods. So I had read something before I watched the episode that they were talking about, fairy. So the beginning episode when they're talking about that tale with the king or the prince, I can't remember who it was now, but the female who was actually enchanting the armor with the Luxor cannon. Borman was making mention of fairies. So I kind of was trying to link that to what happened in the episode. I kept thinking, well, maybe these are fairies and they're in this protected area. And when no one's around, you can't see them. And they only allow you to come in, from their magic if they want you to. So maybe when they saw Allura, they had an idea of who she was, and they kind of let their guard down, I guess. And then that's what allowed Valentine to come in there too. So I don't know. I mean, that was kind of one theory I was kind of working with, but I don't know. Like, they never went back to those characters. So I don't know. I mean, we'll see what happens. Or maybe they were just, I don't know. Maybe they're just living there, and unfortunately they're dead now. But that was one little thing I was thinking though. One of my little theories I was had. So, but yeah. So what were you? 42 minutes in. These are usually about an hour. I don't know. Any other questions from the chat before I get out of here? I guess, because I don't know if there's anything else really to break down here. Again, I do like the series. I wish some of the campiness was not in it, because I feel like it's almost overkill. It's almost every scene with Kit and Behrman, Borman. Every time it's always back and forth, too funny. And I hope I don't feel like there's a relationship there. I hope not. I mean, he's probably like 40 something, 50, 40, and she's like 17. And so that would be weird, I think. I'll tell you one thing though. I could definitely see Graydon if he ends up making this, making through, and they end up healing him. I could see him and Alora doing something maybe. That's an interesting relationship right there. I mean, they talk more than he does with Kit. So, but yeah. So, all right, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and head out of here. Smash that like on the way out. If you are new, I appreciate you watching. Subscribe if you haven't yet. And again, I will be dropping another video here on probably Friday or Saturday. I got my new She-Ra in. I wanted to kind of go through that again. But at least Mondo sent me a brand new one, which is cool because the arm was so loose. Johnny Funko. Sure, go ahead. I have the same mic, and my mic is only red. Do you need an app? No, I just plug it in. But I know that they do make it. Let me see now. Let me see. I mean, there's literally one little switch on there, so I don't know. But I mean, there's no app. I just plugged it in. But I think when I bought this, I do think that they did have other ones that were just solid colors. Did you buy on Amazon, Johnny? Because I bought one on Amazon, and I thought maybe I saw that. Because I remember I was going to go with just one color, and then I kind of like the colors that switched. Because I knew eventually I would have these, so I think it would match it. But yeah, I don't know. Check on Amazon. I'm not sure. Thank you, Baby Ice. Appreciate that. Yeah, check on Amazon and see. And I mean, you can always send it back and get the other one. I think there was an option for different colors or the multicolor. So, but all right, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys this weekend on Sunday for our Game of Thrones least favorite characters. And then again, I'll be dropping a video here in the next 3 days. I have a couple ideas. So, but all right. Thanks, guys. And don't forget, like always, keep those heads on. Peace.